My friends, the very foundation of an unbreakable positive mental attitude begins with one battlefield. And it is not in the world around you, but in the world within you. Every single day, every single hour, your mind is whispering to you. It is speaking words of power or words of weakness. It is declaring your victory, or it is prophesying your defeat. And the great tragedy is this: most people live their lives without ever questioning the voice that rules them. You must understand, your inner conversation is not harmless background noise. It is not idle chatter. It is the architect of your destiny. The words you speak to yourself in silence are the commands your subconscious mind accepts as truth. And once accepted, those commands shape your actions, your emotions, your confidence, your habits, and ultimately your results in life. Consider this: when a man tells himself, "I cannot do this," does his body not instantly obey? His courage shrinks, his shoulders sink, his energy dies before the battle has even begun. But when another man, faced with the same challenge, declares, "I will find a way, I must and I shall," his spirit rises, his imagination begins to work, and his very body aligns itself with determination. The difference between these two men lies not in opportunity, not in resources, not in fortune, but in the conversation of their minds. If you desire an unbreakable positive mental attitude, you must seize absolute control of this conversation. You must become the guard at the gate of your mind. No negative whisper may pass through unchallenged. No destructive thought may be entertained without resistance. From this moment forward, you must become aware of what you are saying to yourself, for that inner voice is either your greatest ally or your most treacherous enemy. Here is a truth you must burn into your soul: you cannot plant weeds and expect roses to bloom. If your daily speech to yourself is filled with doubt, fear, criticism, and complaint, do not be surprised if your life bears the bitter fruit of failure and regret. But if you plant seeds of courage, of faith, of strength, of determination, then your harvest will be success, happiness, and inner peace. The soil of the mind does not discriminate. It grows whatever you plant. Now, how do you master this inner conversation? You begin by replacing every negative declaration with a positive affirmation. When your mind says, "I can't," you must instantly respond, "I can and I will." When the whisper of fear says, "It is impossible," your conscious will must shout, "It shall be done." Each correction is a hammer strike, shaping the steel of your mental attitude. Next, you must feed your mind daily with words of power. Read passages of courage and victory. Repeat affirmations of faith and success. Write down declarations that inspire you and keep them where your eyes can see them. Just as the body requires daily nourishment, so does the mind require daily reinforcement of positive truth. Finally, you must act in harmony with your new conversation. Words alone will not suffice. If you say, "I am strong," then act with strength. If you declare, "I will succeed," then take bold steps toward success. Every action becomes proof to your subconscious that your words are true. And once your subconscious is convinced, no power on earth can shake your attitude. My friends, take absolute control of your inner conversation, and you will hold the reins of destiny in your hands. Speak faith, and you will live in faith. Speak courage, and you will act with courage. Speak victory, and victory will answer your call. Guard the voice within, and you will build a mind no adversity can break. My friends, no man drifts into greatness. No woman stumbles upon success by accident. Every towering achievement you see in the world today, every bridge that spans rivers, every enterprise that builds empires, every invention that transforms life, was first born from a definite purpose in the mind of someone who refused to wander aimlessly. You must realize that the mind cannot remain positive while it is lost in confusion. An unsettled mind is like a ship without a rudder. It is tossed, it is turned, it is driven by every wave of circumstance. Such a ship may sail for years and never reach a shore. But give that ship a captain with a compass, a chart, and a destination, and suddenly every wave becomes an ally. The winds that once threatened to destroy it now push it toward its goal. So it is with you until you learn the art of definite purpose. Your mental attitude will be fragile, vulnerable, and easily broken. The first law of positive attitude is direction. A man who knows where he is going will always rise after he falls, for his eyes are fixed on the horizon of his destiny. A woman with a definite aim will never allow criticism, failure, or difficulty to destroy her spirit, for she knows every setback is nothing more than a detour along the path she has chosen. But the individual without a purpose, he is like a feather in the wind, tossed, scattered, and eventually lost. If you desire an unbreakable positive mental attitude, then engrave this truth upon your mind. You must have a definite purpose, and you must devote yourself to it with passion and persistence. Vagueness breeds weakness, clarity breeds strength. How do you establish this purpose? Begin by asking yourself, what do I truly desire to accomplish? What is so meaningful to me that I would gladly give my time, my energy, even my very life in pursuit of it? Do not choose lightly, for your purpose is not a passing wish. It is the North Star of your existence. Wishes flicker and fade, but purpose burns as a fire that cannot be extinguished. Once you have chosen your purpose, write it down in clear, definite terms. Do not merely say, I want to be successful. Success is vague, and vagueness has no power. Instead, declare with precision, I will build this business by this date, or I will master this skill to this degree, or I will achieve this goal with these resources. The clearer the picture in your mind, the stronger the magnet that will pull you toward it. But writing alone is not enough. You must fix your purpose in your imagination until it becomes as real as the ground beneath your feet. See it, feel it, believe it. Let it burn so brightly in your soul that no storm can dim its flame. When doubt whispers, let the vision of your purpose roar louder. When discouragement knocks, let the fire of your aim drive it away. And here is the great secret: when your purpose is definite, your mind will generate the faith, courage, and ideas you need to achieve it. Problems that once overwhelmed you will become challenges you welcome. Obstacles that once frightened you will become opportunities to prove your strength. The purpose-filled mind is a fortress, and nothing can shake it. My friends, learn the art of definite purpose. Decide where you are going. Commit to it with every fiber of your being. Write it, believe it, pursue it relentlessly. Do this, and your mental attitude will cease to waver, for it will be anchored in the certainty of your aim. Remember this eternal truth: the winds of life favor only those who know their destination. Fix your purpose, and every power of your mind will rise to carry you there. That is the path to an unbreakable positive mental attitude. My friends, life will never hand you a crown without first testing your worthiness to wear it. Every dreamer, every achiever, every leader has walked through the fires of adversity. And here lies the great difference between those who rise and those who remain defeated. It is not the presence of difficulty that separates them, but the attitude with which they meet it. Understand this truth: adversity is not your enemy, it is your greatest instructor. Every setback carries within it a seed of equal or greater benefit, if only you have the eyes to see and the courage to seize it. The weak man curses his misfortune, but the strong man bends it into wisdom. The complainer sees obstacles, the visionary sees opportunities. This choice, my friends, is yours every time life strikes you. Consider the story written in the life of nature itself. The diamond is born only under crushing pressure. The pearl is formed only when the oyster suffers irritation. The oak tree grows mighty because it withstands the storm. In the same way, you cannot develop an unbreakable positive mental attitude without the discipline of adversity. The challenges you face are not breaking you, they are shaping you. When disappointment comes, and it will, ask yourself, what lesson is hidden here? What advantage can I create from this? By asking such questions, you take command of your own mind. You prevent negativity from poisoning your spirit, and instead you turn it into fuel. Think of the great inventors and builders of history. How many times did they fail before they succeeded? How many doors slammed in their faces before one opened? Yet they pressed on, not because circumstances were easy, but because they had trained themselves to see failure not as defeat, but as education. Every misstep revealed a better way forward. Every fall gave them stronger legs to rise again. This is the essence of a positive mental attitude, not the denial of hardship, but the mastery of hardship. Do not deceive yourself into believing that positivity means pretending life is without struggle. No, it means choosing the interpretation of events that empowers you rather than destroys you. Imagine, if you will, two men facing the same storm. The first curses the wind, fears the rain, and collapses in despair. The second bends his sails, redirects his course, and uses that same storm to reach his destination faster. The storm was the same. The difference was the attitude. So, how do you cultivate this power in yourself? Begin by declaring a new law over your life. Nothing will happen to me that does not carry within it a benefit for me. Hold this conviction with unshakable faith. When trouble comes, repeat it until you believe it. Then search for that benefit with all your mental energy. Next, discipline yourself never to waste time in self-pity. Self-pity is the thief of strength. It blinds you to solutions, chains you to the problem, and robs you of energy that could be used for progress. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" ask, "How shall I use this to advance?" And finally, take every trial as a training ground for greatness. Each obstacle you conquer builds mental muscle. Each hardship endured with faith hardens your attitude against despair. Each problem solved strengthens the conviction that you are greater than anything that dares oppose you. My friends, transform every adversity into a seed of benefit. Do this, and you will never again see yourself as a victim of circumstances. Instead, you will stand as a master of circumstances. With this attitude, you will walk through storms unbroken, through failures undefeated, and through life unstoppable. Remember, adversity will either bury you or build you. The choice depends entirely on the attitude with which you meet it. My friends, the mind is like a garden. It will grow whatever is planted in it. Plant weeds, and weeds will thrive. Plant roses, and roses will bloom. But here is the truth too many ignore. You are not the only gardener of your mind. Every book you read, every conversation you entertain, every environment you dwell in, every companion you keep, each of them plants seeds in the soil of your thoughts. And those seeds, whether good or bad, will shape the harvest of your life. If you desire to develop an unbreakable, positive mental attitude, you must take charge of this process with the same vigilance a king defends his throne. Guard your associations. Guard your influences. For your mind is too precious to allow poison to enter unchecked. Think of this: no man can swim in muddy water and come out clean. No woman can live among constant complaints and emerge with gratitude. Negativity is contagious, and unless resisted, it spreads like fire in dry grass. If you keep company with defeatist minds, their words will seep into your soul until you begin to echo them as your own. The strongest fortress can be weakened if it lets the enemy walk through the gates disguised as a friend. But just as negativity is contagious, so is greatness. Surround yourself with people of vision, courage, and determination, and their spirit will ignite yours. Read books that inspire your ambition, and your imagination will expand. Listen to voices that speak of victory, and your heart will grow stronger. Spend your time in environments of growth, and growth will naturally become your way of life. You must ask yourself, who sits at the table of my mind? Are they critics who mock every dream? Are they worriers who magnify every fear? Are they cynics who dismiss every possibility? If so, show them the door. Instead, invite companions of faith, encouragers of courage, builders of hope. For the voices you permit into your mind will one day become the voice you hear when you are alone. Consider the eagle, soaring high above the clouds. It does not flock with sparrows. It does not nest among chickens. Its environment is the open sky. Its companions are the winds and the heights. So too must you rise above the chatter of the small-minded. Choose influences that lift you to greater altitudes, not those that pull you back to the ground. Now, how do you apply this principle in daily life? Begin with your reading. Every page you turn is a seed planted. Do not waste your hours on material that breeds fear, doubt, or idleness. Instead, nourish your mind with writings that strengthen character, increase knowledge, and expand imagination. Next, examine your conversations. Ask yourself, do these words strengthen me or weaken me? Do they build faith or breed fear? Refuse to waste precious energy in gossip, criticism, or complaint. Speak words that uplift and seek voices that uplift you. Finally, take charge of your environment. Clean the clutter of your surroundings, for disorder outside breeds disorder inside. Fill your space with reminders of your vision, symbols of your purpose, and words of inspiration that command your mind toward greatness. My friends, no one rises alone. Every success is a chorus of influences, books, voices, mentors, companions, all joining to shape the mental attitude of the individual. If your influences are weak, your attitude will be weak. If your influences are strong, your attitude will be unbreakable. Surround your mind with constructive influence, and you will walk through life with a fortress of positivity around you. Negativity may knock at your door, but it will not find a way inside. Doubt may whisper, but it will be drowned out by the chorus of faith that fills your soul. Remember this truth: you cannot choose the weather, but you can choose the company you keep. Choose wisely, for those choices determine the climate of your mind, and the climate of your mind determines the harvest of your destiny. My friends, thought is powerful. Belief is powerful. But thought and belief without action are like a lamp without oil. They cannot give light. The secret of an unbreakable positive mental attitude is not only in what you think, not only in what you believe, but in what you do with that thought and belief. Faith must be expressed in action, or it remains nothing more than a dream imprisoned in the mind. Understand this eternal principle: when you act in faith, you release forces far greater than yourself. But when you hesitate, when you delay, when you shrink back in doubt, you chain your mind to fear, and fear multiplies. Action is the proof of belief. Action is the bridge between the invisible thought and the visible result. Without it, your positive mental attitude is no more than an empty wish. Look at the difference between two men standing at the same door of opportunity. The first waits, saying, "I will act when conditions are perfect." He waits for the economy to improve, for friends to approve, for fear to vanish. And because he waits, opportunity passes him by. The second, though trembling with uncertainty, knocks boldly. He moves forward despite the fog of doubt. And what happens? Doors open, conditions adjust, courage grows. Faith reveals its power only when it is put into motion. This is why so many fail to develop an unbreakable positive mental attitude. They wait for certainty before they act. But certainty never comes in advance. Certainty is the child of action, not its parent. You must first move, and then clarity will appear. You must first leap, and then the wings of faith will carry you. When doubt whispers, "What if I fail?" answer with action, for every step forward weakens doubt's grip. Remember, failure is never final unless you refuse to rise again. The one who acts in faith transforms failure into experience, and experience into strength. But the one who surrenders to doubt is defeated before the battle begins. How then can you train yourself to act in faith? Begin by making small decisions quickly and firmly. Doubt thrives on hesitation. Every time you delay, you feed fear. But each time you decide with confidence, you strengthen the habit of faith. Soon this habit will guide you even in greater challenges. Next, take bold steps even when conditions are not perfect. Understand this truth: conditions will never be perfect. There will always be something missing, some reason to wait. But the man who insists on waiting will die waiting. Progress belongs to the one who moves with what he has, where he is right now. Finally, affirm with action the faith you declare with words. If you say, "I believe in my dream," then let your calendar, your habits, your investments of time and energy prove it. Faith without corresponding action is self-deception. But faith expressed through effort is irresistible. It compels life itself to respond. Think of the great pioneers of the world. Did they wait for guarantees before venturing forth? Did they demand certainty before setting sail? No, they acted in faith. They moved into the unknown, armed only with conviction, and because they moved, they made discoveries, built empires, and shaped history. My friends, act in faith, not in doubt. Move forward when fear says stand still. Begin when doubt says delay. Persevere when obstacles scream retreat. Each act of faith strengthens your mental attitude until it becomes a force that cannot be broken. Remember this: doubt sees the obstacles, faith sees the way. Doubt sees the darkness, faith sees the dawn. Doubt asks, "What if I fail?" Faith declares, "What if I succeed?" And the one who acts in faith writes his name in the story of triumph. Act, my friends. Act boldly, act decisively, act with faith. For action in faith is the crowning jewel of an unbreakable positive mental attitude. My friends, we have walked together through the 5 pillars of an unbreakable positive mental attitude. You have learned that it begins with mastering your inner conversation. For the words you speak to yourself are the commands your life will follow. You have seen the power of definite purpose, for without direction the mind cannot stand strong. You have discovered the hidden treasure within adversity, for every trial conceals a seed of benefit for those who dare to look. You have been reminded to surround yourself with constructive influences, for no garden can flourish in poisoned soil. And finally, you have heard the call to act in faith, not in doubt, for belief without action is nothing more than a dream unrealized. These are not mere ideas. They are laws, unchangeable, immovable, eternal. If you apply them, they will lift you above fear, above weakness, above defeat. If you neglect them, life will reduce you to the level of doubt, confusion, and complaint. The choice rests entirely with you. Remember this: your attitude is the lens through which you see the world, and the world responds not to what is, but to how you perceive it. The storms of life will come. None of us are spared. But the man or woman who has built a fortress of positivity within can walk through the tempest unshaken, knowing that every force in life can be bent toward victory. So I leave you with this challenge: guard your mind, fix your purpose, welcome adversity, choose uplifting influences, and walk boldly in faith. If you do, nothing, no setback, no criticism, no obstacle, will have the power to break your spirit. Stand tall, live with courage, and let your life shine as proof that the greatest power on earth is not circumstance, but the attitude of a mind determined to remain positive until victory is achieved. That, my friends, is how you develop an unbreakable positive mental attitude.